Do you think that the Conservatives will actually be disappointed with these losses?
Yeah, it's not some. I mean, look, I think you've got to divide the results in two between London and the rest of the country. The results in London are appalling, the worst ever the Conservative Party has done in London. The results in the rest of the country not quite so bad. But all of the debate about seats in councils kind of obscures the key figure, which is the national equivalent vote share that the parties have got. So the Conservatives at the moment are on 30%, Labour are on about 35%. So what does that tell you? It tells you the Conservative Party is in real trouble, in danger of losing its majority at the next election. Historically, governing parties that get down to 30 or below are in trouble. But it tells you Labour is nowhere near where it needs to be to win outright. It would need to be above 40% to be on course to win outright. And overall, across the country, Keir Starmer hasn't done a lot better than Jeremy Corbyn did 4 years ago. So I think the picture is very clear. The Conservatives are in real trouble, but Labour are not in a position to win outright, and we're probably heading for a hung parliament at the next election.
Do you think, though, because these local elections, roughly about this time, midway in between the full sort of general election period, this shouldn't be a surprising result? I mean, this is almost like the last time. Why would anybody be that surprised at the result now? Yes, we've had Partygate, but there's Beergate on the way.
So, of course, governing parties tend to fall back a bit in mid-term. The question is how far they fall. And if you're going down to 30% of the national equivalent vote, that tells you you're in quite a lot of trouble. The only thing that the Conservatives can cling on to here, as I said, is that Labour isn't doing as well as it needs to do to win outright. But I think if you take these results in London as an example, Wandsworth and Westminster, they stayed Conservative during the poll tax years. They stayed Conservative during the worst bits of the major government under Tony Blair, during Brexit, during austerity, and now they've gone. So that tells you that there is a real problem with these results for the Conservative Party, but there's also a problem for Labour.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, because obviously Westminster is one of the most efficient councils in this country, and it's got the lowest council tax. I'm wondering, under a Labour council, whether that will change, because I think people will be looking at that and wondering whether actually some of those Labour-held councils will start spending a lot of money and start to put off a lot of those people in the areas that have kind of changed to them. What's your view on that sort of dynamic?
So I think if Labour councillors in Wandsworth and Westminster have got any sense, they'll have learned over the last 30, 40 years that the voters liked the efficient councils that they had. And if they just whack the tax up very rapidly, I suspect they won't be in power for very long. So I suspect you'll see that they will try and maintain those low tax reputations that those two councils have, because otherwise they're going to pay the price in 4 years.